When I need answers about anything to do with personal growth, I go straight to my mom and my aunt. Here they are, Priscilla Babin and Tina Gilliatt with the Sister Sauce.
Hey everybody, welcome back to the Sister Sauce. I'm Priscilla and I've got my gorgeous sister Tina back in town with me. And this is episode 34. We're getting
Yeah,
grown up.
we took a week off. Yeah, so
Yeah,
we would have been on episode 35, but we needed a break.
yeah. We need a vacation from our vacation.
That was the
It's summer.
case.
It's summertime. Summertime.
Summertime.
We got some summertime fun to talk about after a bit. But you got anything fun to share, Tina, or you want to go right to your hot sauce?
Uh, Nothing really fun to share other than that. I'm ready for a vacation again. But hot sauce. My hot sauce today is think before you speak. And I came across a graphic a couple of weeks ago. It was on Facebook or Instagram or something. And it's called Think Before You Speak. And each letter of the word think stands for something. It says, think before you speak. T, is it true? H, is it helpful? I, is it inspiring? N, is it necessary? And K, is it kind? And I think so many people are writing nasty and mean things on Facebook right now and on social media and saying whatever they feel like about anything. I think it's wonderful that people have an opinion and aren't afraid to express it. But I think that sometimes we should just keep our opinions to ourselves if they aren't going to help anything and they're only going to hurt people. And so many people are being hurt by the nasty things that are being said. And so asking yourself before you open your mouth, is what I'm about to say true? Is it helpful? Is it inspiring? Is it necessary? And is it kind? Is a great tool to measure whether or not there is value in what you're about to say. And you and I both saw a thing on Instagram, I think it was the other day, where a teacher was sharing with her class that I think it was 20 seconds or 30 seconds.
15, I think. I think it was
15. Okay. So it was like a 15-second rule or a 20-second rule, whatever it was. 15-second though, probably. If what you're about to tell someone is wrong with them or their appearance or whatever, cannot be corrected in 15 seconds by them, then you shouldn't bring it up. So what she was saying was, if their shoes are untied, it will take less than 15 seconds for them to tie their shoes. So that's okay to point that out. If their shirt's unbuttoned or if their pants are unzipped, and of course she demonstrates how to do it kindly, like, hey, your pants are unzipped. You might want to zip them up so you're not embarrassed or whatever. And I thought that was really cool to teach children that, because it's one of the issues that kids have, I think, today. They just say whatever's on their minds. And it's not just kids, adults too.
Especially on the internet when they're safe behind a screen, right?
It's the truth.
I want to correct myself. You were right the first time. It is 30 seconds.
Oh, it is? Okay.
It came from.
I thought it was 20 though. So yeah.
It's 30. I don't know. 15 was in my brain.
It's okay. 30 seconds and 15 seconds.
It doesn't really matter if they can't change it almost immediately. That's enough.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. It probably takes less than 30 seconds to zip your There's a fly zipping race.
I was, you know, that I taught a public speaking class yesterday for teenagers, and I enjoyed it. They were nice young people. I was disappointed though at one point because an adult who happened to come into the room overheard us doing table topics, which is where you practice impromptu speaking. And I was asking the kids questions and they were volunteering to respond. And this one young girl who had been somewhat disengaged at the earlier session was actively getting excited about table topics and wanted to answer the very first question that I asked. And I was so thankful that I had finally grabbed her attention. And when she finished speaking, she was trying very hard to get to, I told them to try to get to 1 minute and that the screen would turn green for them when they met 1 minute. And she was trying very hard to get to the 1 minute mark and she couldn't think of what to say. So she was stammering a little bit and she used the word like a lot. And she went to sit back down and I congratulated her on reaching 1 minute and said, that was really great. That was a good answer too. It was very interesting. And it is hard to get to 1 minute when you've never done it before. And was sort of encouraging her. And the adult who was not part of my program felt it necessary to say to her, your favorite word is like, though. I was standing here counting. Do you know how many times you said like? And the girl said, I don't know, 9. And they said, no, 14. You said not like 14 times. And I thought, this is an adult.
Who clearly
being ugly to a teenager.
Before they spoke.
And so I turned to the young woman and I said, it's okay though, because now you know what your filler word is and you can think about it. And in the future, you can work harder at trying to eliminate that word from your vocabulary. But guess what? It's all right because this is a safe space to practice. And that's what we're doing. And I turned to the other adult and smiled. I'm thinking, come on. Kids know better than to discourage each other. But the adult was chiming in on there. So yeah, think before you speak, people.
Be like, get out of here. Let me do my job.
Yep. Did I invite you into this party? I don't think so.
You are not part of this discussion.
They weren't just a random stranger that came off of the street, but they weren't actually teaching the class or helping me. So
it wasn't AJ, was it?
No, never. He knows better. He came during the lunch break to help me carry books, but that was it.
You carried your books to school.
Yeah.
How romantic. Well, we got some ideas for summer fun today, right?
Yeah. Should be fun to just toss some ideas out there, right?
We found this article on realsimple.com. Tina found it.
It was just a really cute article.
It's a fun summer activities checklist. So if you want to look it up, we'll probably have this in the show notes, right?
Yes.
And what was your take when you read through this? Like, what was your immediate reaction to the suggestions?
That they're mostly for kids or people with young children. But I started trying to think of myself doing some of these things, and I said, these are some of the things that I did when I was growing up, like on date nights and stuff, What did you think?
My immediate thought was, these are things for people who have energy.
That probably should have caught my attention. Yeah.
But I felt guilty because some of these things I was like, oh, I used to do these things with the kids,
Yeah.
Another thought I had was some of these things are kind of regional because, like, for example, one of them is go watch or catch fireflies at night. I haven't seen a firefly in at least 30
but
years.
remember I told you about that podcast that I listened to? And there's some kind of scientific rationale for why there aren't as many fireflies anymore.
Yeah, but I really think they are like their population isn't just shrinking, but it's shrinking as far as how much area they go,
Demographically.
maybe.
Yeah.
Because I had never really, I think I had maybe seen one or two in my whole childhood here. And then when we lived in Missouri, I saw a lot more. And so I don't know if they're all up north or what.
Yeah, I don't remember seeing them when I was a kid much here either. Once in a blue moon, yeah.
Mhm.
But maybe, like you said, it's geographically it's different wherever you are. So be interesting to find out. Well, one of the other ones that was listed and the Firefly one was listed under nostalgic things to do, which I thought was interesting. But one other one under the nostalgic things was see a movie at the drive-in. And I thought, do we have any drive-ins anymore?
Yeah, not that I know of, not around here anyway. We went to a drive-in movie in upstate New York when we didn't know how to do drive-in movies because we had never been to one because we didn't have one here. And this is, gosh, almost 30 years ago. They had a drive-in movie, and we didn't realize you're supposed to attend. There's two movies, and it's a double feature every time, and you're supposed to go to both. You're not supposed to drive in while the first movie is still going before the second one starts, because everybody's facing the road because the screen faces away from the road, so your headlights are in everybody's face. So
That's
that was a faux
interesting.
pas on our part, and then we had to figure out how to use the speaker and all the things that you do at a drive-in. So we only did it the one time, so I still don't really know how all of it works. But one of my friends just posted on Facebook that she had taken her daughter to the drive-in and they went to see, I think If was one of them, or Inside Out 2, one of those, and something else. And I was like, wow, that's a long time to sit in your car. And you don't keep your AC running, but they live up north, I think, so, or norther than us.
Yeah.
Maybe it's better, but I mean, I can't imagine sitting in my car that long with the engine off right now. And if you've got you'd have to have your windows rolled up as much as you can with the speaker in your car. But here, I can imagine you roll your speaker, excuse me, not your speaker, you roll your window down to grab the speaker, and you're going to have a car full of mosquitoes. So it just sounds horrifying.
I'm just laughing at you making the motion to roll the window down.
Oh, yeah, excuse me. Roll it down like this. Oh.
I forget where we were. We were somewhere recently. It might have been I was going to say in a cab or something, but I don't think it was a cab. But we went somewhere where I got in a car and didn't know how to open the window. And AJ said, it's the old fashioned way. You have to roll it down.
Oh my gosh.
And I was laughing at myself because I said, oh, wow, I'm really spoiled now. But
I thought that's a downgrade, not having a powered door on my car anymore. I can't imagine having hand crank windows. Let's see, what else do they have? They have some of these things are things you could do anytime.
Yeah.
And it also depends on where you live, because some of these things, some people would be too cold to do some things, but like you could tie dye a t-shirt. That's nostalgic. You can do that anytime, but it's kind of messy. So like those, like I went through the list and I'm going, oh, that's messy. Oh, that's outside, and I don't like outside. And the more I poo-pooed every idea, the more I thought, wow, I am really a pathetic person who doesn't do anything. But but the tie-dye a t-shirt idea, that could inspire you to do something else that's artistic and creative.
Is that why you wore your rainbow shirt today to
Sure.
demonstrate? It's not tie-dye, but
It's kind of.
it sort of looks like tie-dye, yeah.
It's tie-dye-ish.
PJ used to love
Pretty.
tie-dye shirts, and we got him some really cool ones. I don't even remember where, but I love tie-dye.
Yeah, I don't know if I could. I've tried. Me and the kids tried last summer, I think, or the summer before, to do some tie-dyeing, and we came out with some kind of cool designs by accident, but like we couldn't figure out how to do the ones where you do a certain thing on purpose and you make it look a certain way, like the spirals and all that stuff.
You do
And
it with rubber bands, you know that, right?
I know, but like getting it to wrap the right way and things.
I know. Yeah.
People seem to have a real knack for that. If you can look online and you search the hashtag tie-dye, there are people who are really skilled and can make
Yeah.
some amazing things, and it's fun to look at and get inspired.
I have
But I
a
mean,
feeling I would make an absolute mess though and have dye all over my shoes and everything.
ruin the floor and the cabinets. We have spots on our couch.
I'm not good at that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I tend to get a little wild and crazy. And we just painted in this room, and I'm seeing little dots on the floor here and there where I spilled paint and didn't know.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But, I mean, doing anything creative when you have extra time. Or I feel like a summer list is really a good list for people who have kids that are home for the summer, and who are off school, or if you take a staycation in your home, or even if you go somewhere and it's just a place that's a place to go, and it's not like if you're not going to Orlando or something where you have, theme parks to visit, you can, if you're going just to get away from your familiar surroundings, you could do these things in those locations and make it different.
They have miniature golf was on there too, as something nostalgic, which I thought is fun. I mean, I used to go on dates to mini golf. So
yeah, me too.
not that I had a whole lot of dates, but
Joey, year before last, we did his birthday at mini golf, and that was fun. And it was pretty easy because I sent all the kids ahead of me and I followed behind, and I didn't play. I just followed along, and thank God his birthday's in March and not in May or June.
or July, like Livia. Oh.
August, September, that's even worse. Yeah. Getting outdoors seems to be a common thread. There's a whole list of outdoor ones, and even some of the ones that are under relax are out. Almost all of those. Actually, all of those are outdoor too.
Well, a lot of those have to do with food, which appealed to me.
There's a whole list that's food related, but then they have.
Oh, that's true. I'm looking at the food list. I didn't realize the heading had changed. Yeah.
But even some of the ones on the other lists, like have a picnic in the park is food related. Picnics, go to the beach, go river tubing. Some of these are too scary for me.
Yeah. So one of the ones on the food list was to make homemade ice cream. And you were too little to remember it, but we used to have an ice cream maker, and Dad would make ice cream occasionally. And I can remember us all he would go out on the porch and do it. And we would be waiting for that ice cream. And I don't think it was anything really spectacularly tasty, but it was an adventure,
It's a special thing. I think the gist of the entire list is to just do something you don't ordinarily do.
Yes, for sure.
And a lot of them are of an artsy nature, or several of them, like the tie-dyeing, or using sidewalk chalk and coloring on the sidewalk. That's kind of fun.
So I don't know if you remember, but when COVID first started, chalk art became really popular again.
Yeah.
because kids couldn't play together, and so a lot of kids were like writing inspirational messages on sidewalks. And we actually did a thing for church one Sunday. I was doing the videos and I was trying to do a different themed little video reel every week. And so one of the weeks I chose chalk art, and I asked all our members to take pictures of chalk art in their neighborhoods and send it to me because it was so popular at that time. And I had a whole bunch of pictures of chalk art, and it was something that we hadn't done in years. So it was kind of fun to see what kids were creating with their chalk art.
Yeah, getting creative. One of the things I've got that I've been working on, but I was working on it. I've been working on it for a long time, but I took a break from it and I've kind of picked it back up since it's summer and the kids are home and I want to hang out with them, but I don't do well just sitting still and and watching TV or whatever. I have to have two things. And so I have this pair of white shoes, and it actually started as an accident. I ordered a pair of white canvas tennis shoes online for Clover, and they did not fit correctly. They're a little too big. And I was like, well, let me try them on. So I tried them on and they fit me. And I was like, I don't wear a lot of real plain shoes and I like things that are colorful. So I said, as a creative thing, how about you take them and draw some fun designs on them? And the designs are very summery, like rainbows and butterflies and flowers and stuff. And so they drew all these pictures and they made them symmetrical to satisfy my OCD tendencies. So they drew it in pen. So they went over it in pen. They drew it in pencil, I think, and I went over it in pen so that I could see it real well. And I've been embroidering on these shoes.
Embroidering?
Only problem is if you've ever embroidered, canvas is very tough to get through.
Oh, I can only imagine.
So my thumbs and my fingers get very sore from pushing and pulling the needle in and out. So I can only do a little bit at a time and it takes me a long time. So I've been working on it forever, and because I have to take breaks and stuff. And especially where the heel is, because there's that internal cardboard support that's sewn in.
Like a reinforcement. Yeah.
Yeah. So on those areas, on the first shoe, I actually tried using a thinner needle and pushing it through that, which is extremely hard. The second shoe I'm working on now, I decided to try and go just through the top layer and go back and forth. And that's working a little better, but it's more time consuming because I have to be more careful.
Yeah.
But it's fun. And when they're done, I'll have a really fun little pair of shoes.
That's really cool. You made me think I have a pair of white tennis shoes that I got that were brand new. And when we went on vacation, within the first couple of hours, they had like dirt on them and I couldn't figure it out. And I kind of cleaned them off, but there's still a little, you can see a little bit of it. And so I thought, well, I'll just bleach them. But maybe I could just color them with textile paints or something.
There you go.
Decorate my little tennis shoes.
Go crazy.
I have like 4 pairs of tennis shoes now because my poor feet, I'm trying to find something to make them comfortable. They're getting old.
We're getting grown up.
Sundresses were on the list. Wear a sundress. I haven't worn a sundress in so long. I thought that was kind of funny. I can remember when I was a teenager, there were sundresses on the rack, like at, I don't know, Kmart or Walmart, and there were all these different really pretty flowery dresses. And I used to love to go in there and get 3 or 4 for the summer and bounce back and forth between those sundresses. And I don't know. Now I feel like I have to have something on my shoulders because I have old people arms
Same.
and don't like anything too short because I have fat knees.
I don't like my legs touching each other. Some of my weird sensory things, like even when I'm in bed sleeping, I like pajama pants. I do not like nightgowns. I have not worn nightgowns in many, 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 many years. I only like pajama pants. So people seem to know this about me. So I have many nice pairs of pajamas now.
Join us for this episode of What Weird Habits Do Tina and Priscilla Have? Or quirks of Tina and Priscilla.
Yep.
I love it though.
There's a lot of fun food things.
One of the things that's suggested is looking for treasure at a garage sale.
Oh,
I thought that was funny. I said that we just let other people come to our garage sales.
there you go. We will supply the treasure. You guys can find it. Some of this stuff is things that I used to do with grandma when I was little, like sitting on a porch swing or looking at the clouds.
Yeah.
We used to sit on that bench swing that she put in my old swing set, and we would stare up at the clouds and we would tell each other what we saw.
Oh, I remember that.
That was fun. That was a nice time.
Yeah, I agree.
I had some good de-stressing then.
I like wind chimes. You have wind chimes, don't you?
I have a small set right now. I used to have one of those real big sets that was real clangy, but I live in kind of a tight neighborhood now, so that might be a little too intense.
Yeah, we used to have one on our patio, and I think one of the hurricanes or whatever, we forgot to take it down and it got kind of messed up, so we never did put it back up. But I like wind chimes, although I have been at places before that had way too many and it drove me nuts, you know?
Yeah.
One of my little quirks.
That's another problem with sensory issues too. Can get on people's nerves. We have a little tiny set that currently I think is hanging on one of the key hooks on our little mail holder thing that we have because it was outside and the wind kept flinging it all over the place. So we had to take it down. We have days when it'll get really windy, especially hurricane season. So maybe I'll put it back out for a little bit before we have any more bad weather. The wooden ones are fun too. I don't know if you can call those chimes exactly, but they make fun sounds. And it's a little softer than the big clangy wood chimes and wind chimes. We had some of those big daddy ones, like those were loud. I don't know how we got away with that.
Did you ever have a hummingbird feeder?
No.
That's
My
on the list
mother-in-law
too.
always has one.
I don't know if you remember this, but when you were young, we had taken you and AJ's kids to Baton Rouge to the zoo, and we stopped at AJ's cousin's house. And they had a bunch of hummingbird feeders on their patio. I don't know if you remember that.
I don't remember
Floydie and
that part.
Martha.
I remember the zoo.
Yeah, and we were watching from the window, and all of these hummingbirds were going to the feeders that they had. And I always remembered that. And I have a couple of friends that have them, and they talk about, and sometimes they'll post pictures on Facebook. So a while back, one of my friends gave me a hummingbird feeder. And it took me forever before I figured out, how to put it together and hang it up and all that. And we put it up and we never got like any response to it, as far as I know. I don't know if it was where we put it and somebody told me that there's certain things you can do to attract the hummingbirds. I don't know what they are though. I guess it would be a good thing to look up and see. But I don't have it anymore. I think that was another hurricane casualty. But yeah, it'd be interesting.
I wonder if there's any relation to the fact that you live closer to a refinery.
Oh my gosh, that's a thought.
Maybe it scares them away. I don't know. That's
Maybe Maybe when I sell my
There
house at my new house, I will get a hummingbird feeder and a wind chime.
you go. You could, we've been trying to feed birds occasionally. We had read, I think I talked about it on here about the story about the lady who trained the crows to like her, and they would come to her house and they helped rescue the old person who fell down. They were all cawing, and she came out because she heard them making a
I
ruckus.
remember you telling
Found the
me
neighbor
about
had
that.
fell and needed assistance because it was icy on the road or whatever.
Mhm.
And my kids would really like me to make friends with the crows and see if they bring us like jewelry and stuff. Because they'll pick up shiny objects, you know. You never know. They might bring me an iPod shuffle. I have no idea. But need one, but it would be funny. But so every once in a while, they'll go scatter a handful of bird seed out in the yard because we have a lot of crows that come to the neighborhood. But I tried making a bird feeder last summer, I think it was, and I made it out of popsicle sticks, and I just used Elmer's glue. And you find out pretty quick when you hang a bird feeder made of popsicle sticks and Elmer's glue, and you hang it in a tree in Louisiana where it's wet and windy, that you end up with a yard full of wet popsicle sticks. And the bird food that was in it got moldy because birds didn't have any interest in my tiny little bird feeder that I made. Oh well. All these food ones are so tempting. I love s'mores, but you know, they've got to be a bajillion points.
I know,
That's a
but
shame.
that does look like fun.
Mhm.
And corn on the cob, I'm like, oh, I love corn on the cob, but my teeth, I don't think my teeth can handle corn on the cob.
Eat the loose
Like
kind
I
and
keep
pretend.
everything on the list. I'm like, I can't do that. So like negative Nelly.
Yeah, see, that's me too. I'm like, oh, it's so hot outside. So like all the outdoor ones, I'm just like, eh.
I don't know if you noticed it, but like on the list, it'll have something suggested, and then if you click on it, it'll give you more information, right? Like
Uh-huh.
make lemonade from scratch, and then it tells you how to do it, right? Well, there's one that says eat a whole lobster with your hands, and when you click on it, there's instructions of how to eat a lobster.
Boy.
I thought that was funny.
Mm.
Sip a sweating glass of iced tea. I don't care for tea, but I like lemonade. Watermelon. Eat a slice of watermelon. Now, that's another thing that we did when we were kids. Mom and dad used to buy a watermelon. And I don't remember often eating it outside, but there were occasions when we would eat it outside. And dad would set up a little table for us or whatever, and we would eat our
Because it's
watermelon
messy.
outside.
You can
Yeah,
poke
it
it
is
all
messy,
down.
but we would put it on the kitchen table and put newspaper down, kind of like if you're eating crawfish.
Yeah.
And then, but I tell you what, watermelon, it's hard to find a good one that's sweet.
Mm.
And when you do though, so good. And AJ is a huge watermelon fan. He eats watermelon all the time. It's good for you.
I've heard that if you look at the watermelons in the grocery store, if you want one that's going to be sweeter, you look for the ones that have that veining on the outside, the scarring, and that's supposed to indicate that they're sweeter. I don't know if that's true.
He read somewhere that the darker green it is, the sweeter it is.
Huh. That makes
But
sense.
or somebody else was telling him that. But yeah. I struggle with cantaloupe, with getting a cantaloupe that's sweet, but that's about ripeness, I think. And I read somewhere that if you put a cantaloupe in a paper bag and you just keep it on your kitchen counter in the paper bag and check it every day, that you don't put it in the refrigerator and cut it until the underside of it is like closer to the color of the, I don't know what it's called. I want to say netting, but you want to see less green and more like tan or
That makes sense.
brown, right? So, we've been trying, we have a watermelon on a kitchen counter. I mean, a cantaloupe on a kitchen counter right now that we're hoping will be ripe soon. Because I don't like them when they're not ripe.
Yeah, they need to be, I don't like them too crispy. And I don't like them,
Right.
raw or whatever, too under
Too
ripe.
ripe. Oh, you underripe, you mean? Yeah, it goes from one extreme to the other, but if it's really ripe, it gets softer.
Yeah, that's
But
when
I love, oh my gosh, I love cantaloupe. What a great
a nice
thing.
soft cantaloupe. Honeydew melon is okay, but I like cantaloupe better.
Yeah, same. I like honeydew as well, but cantaloupe's my favorite. And I prefer cantaloupe to watermelon. AJ likes watermelon better. Um, Mix up a picture of sangria.
Mm,
I would be okay with that.
good. Fruit and booze. Win-win.
And one was eat a soft serve ice cream cone with rainbow sprinkles. Well,
Oh,
you know that we've been on Weight Watchers now since June of last year. So almost a full year. I think it was June 18th. So we're like right at the 1 year mark. And when we were on vacation, we recently vacationed in New York City, and across the street from Central Park were all these food trucks. And we were going to the National Museum of, what is it? History. The Natural History Museum, the American Museum of Natural History. And Central Park was right across the street from that. So when we got off the subway, we looked at our tickets, and I don't think it really mattered. We kind of learned as we were going to different attractions that the time that they told us to be there was actually just kind of a ballpark figure. You didn't have to go during that time. I think it's just to try to get crowds spaced out or whatever. But we thought, well, we have like a half hour to kill. So we went and found a food truck that was selling soft serve ice cream and waffle cones. And that was the first ice cream cone I have had in over a year. And I enjoyed the heck out of that puppy.
ooh.
It was so good. But the weird thing was, we were standing in line at the food truck, and I had a sweater on. And I got so overheated, and I took my sweater off and stuck it in my purse. And they handed us the ice cream cones. We walked across to Central Park and sat on a bench and started eating our ice cream cones. And all of a sudden, I'm in the shade. I'm eating ice cream. I'm freezing.
Oh, goodness.
And the weather was really beautiful there. It was in the 70s, and some days it was in the high 60s. So it was really nice. But yeah, I would go from cold to hot to cold to hot.
Mm,
That ice cream was good though.
mm.
We need to find some soft serve low calorie ice cream
Really?
with a
There's a
0 point waffle cone. That's what I want.
that would be a great thing for somebody to open up, would be like a like ice cream parlor type place that's for people who have diabetes and lactose intolerance or are just on Weight Watchers.
Right.
And they have all their ice creams could be made from, oat milk or almond milk or
I'm for it.
lactose-free
I
milk.
vote for it. I'll support that cause.
Yeah. I don't know if I would want the rainbow sprinkles. I'm not a sprinkle person. That's
Me
one of those. That's
either.
another texture thing I can't handle. Is I don't like crunchy sprinkles. And I don't mind peanuts. Like I'll put peanuts. I can put peanuts in things, or like a chocolate syrup or something like that. But you put any kind of sprinkle that makes a crunch in your teeth, and that really bugs me. I don't
See, I
like the
don't
way
think
they
I would
look.
want it on my ice cream, but I just thinking about it, I love funfetti cake.
Mm.
And
Well,
funfetti cake usually has sprinkles on top.
it does, but it has those little round flatty ones that are almost like little baby Necco wafers, and those are like you can chew them easier.
True.
Like the little ball sprinkles, or even the little like oblong ones. I don't like the texture of those, but the ones in the funfetti cake are okay.
Yeah, I don't like the ones that are waxy tasting.
Yeah, I don't like those either. The little bead ones, though, I feel
Those
like
can
they
be
hurt my
really
teeth.
hard.
Yeah, those get stuck in my teeth. I don't
Ugh.
like. I like the little flatty ones.
We
We'll live
really
with.
are showing all our quirks
We
today.
are. You know what we like to do in the summer, and it's not on the list, but I feel like they would have had a trademark issue maybe, is but it doesn't necessarily have to be, a trademark thing. Like we like to do theme related stuff. Like Harry Potter's birthday is July 30th. Is that right? I should know this off the top of my head. But so we usually do like a whole thing where we'll watch all the movies, not necessarily all at the same time, but we'll like watch the movies and stuff, and we make a happy birthday Harry cake that looks like the cake Hagrid made him, and we make butter beer. uh, God, this year I'm gonna have to figure out how many points all that is, but I wonder if I can make a low-cal butter beer. Does that exist? I don't
Oh
know.
no.
But yeah, we make butter beer and the happy birthday Harry cake. And um a few times we've gone to like events, like at the library. Sometimes the library will have big Harry Potter related events. It's not always in the summer though, but sometimes we'll make little Harry Potter related crafts or something. So if you're into a fandom like that, you could do a whole like theme for a week or something, or over the course of the summer. If you're working and your kids are home or whatever, or they're in camp or something, you could do stuff on the weekends or whatever and spread it out. But we do the Harry Potter one, and then right before school starts, or right at the beginning of the school year, because it's like August 18th, is Percy Jackson's birthday. And we celebrate Percy Jackson's birthday with all kind of blue treats, and we decorate with blue stuff. We buy blue plates and napkins and stuff because his color is blue, son of Poseidon. So and I'm
Well,
weird. Nice
Harry Potter's birthday is on July 31st.
31st.
And it was July 31st, 1980. So that means Harry Potter's turning 43 this year. He old. You old, Harry Potter. You
Oh,
old.
Harry Potter. Yep.
Mm-mm. I know snowballs are fun too to do during the summer.
Yeah. Snowball season generally runs from right around or right after St. Patrick's Day through Thanksgiving. Or at least that's the stand closest to us has that's their season. And so we have a tradition that we go all during the season. We usually try and go once a week, and we just get the smallest ones. But thank goodness that's not a lot of points. I count it as a popsicle or two popsicles, depending, or a
That
fudge.
sounds good. Yeah. I used to get the sugar-free ones, but depending on what flavor you get, they're
Oh
not that
yeah.
great.
No, the chocolate sugar-free is awful. I
Mm.
tried it the first day of the season because we went right after I started Weight Watchers, and I was like, oh, this is terrible. Not again. I will sacrifice the points for a
The
better.
wild cherry's not bad. The wild cherry sugar-free is not bad. The other thing I was going to say was I lost my train of thought. What was I going to say? It totally went out of my head.
Did it have to do with Harry Potter
No, it
or
did not.
snowballs?
Hmm. Oh well. that's gone. One of the things the article suggests is making your own ice pops, which is kind of fun. We used to do that a lot when our kids were little. It's another one of those things that it's like, it's not really that good, but it's kind of an adventure.
Just had to struggle. Like I would buy the ones where it's the container you use to make them and it has the little stick things.
Mm-hmm.
And every time we go to make them, I'd use your hands to warm up the little cup part to try and get it out, but the little stick would always come out. It made me crazy.
Oh, well. Yeah. And they talk about making like cocktails too. That could be fun. You could even do mocktails with your kids.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, lots of great ideas on here. Picking flowers, playing pickleball, skipping stones, planting wildflower seeds. You've done some planting.
Yeah, I got to do some weeding now.
Swimming in a lake, I don't know. With all
Yeah.
the shark attacks, that would scare me.
Well, we have a big lake. We have a very large lake here. Not
Yeah.
everybody has lakes that big, but even still, sometimes lakes will have like parasites in them and stuff.
I know. So
I get so
dirty.
creeped out about nature. Nature is a little daunting, but if you like nature, go for it.
Well, there's lots of great ideas in this article, and we'll share it in the show notes, and you guys can take some of these or some of ours or a combination of your own and just enjoy the summer with your families.
Mm-hmm. Or your friend.
Yeah.
You're a single adult person.
Or your sister.
Sister.
Do you have anything you want us to marinate on over this next week?
I do. Well, we get inspired a lot of times by things we see online. And this is another one of those. I came across a video and it looked like it was from a long, long time ago. Did you feel like it had that? Like it was black and
Yeah,
white?
it had that vibe.
And there was a little girl and it looked like an interview show or something, or a video of some kind of a conversation. And it was a little girl, a young lady. She didn't look old enough to be very old, like maybe 13. And she said, how much disrespect can I take from a family member or a friend before I cut them off? Think about that for a second. How much disrespect can I take from a family member or a friend before I cut them off? And I'm sure we have all experienced some level of disrespect from family members or friends. Mm-hmm. Not my sister, ever. Thank you very much. But the response from the adult, which we love, is how much poison can you take before you die? And I'm assuming what he meant by that. I mean, my immediate response was, wow, because you wouldn't want to take any poison at the off chance that it only takes a little bit, So I think his message to her was, don't put up with that,
Yeah. Why are you even considering it?
Right. Right. Why allow yourself to be disrespected at all? So stand up for yourself, folks. Even if it's somebody who you're close to, you should let them know how they've made you feel. And if they continue to make that mistake, if they say sorry, but then they continue to disrespect you, then maybe you do need to put a little space between.
Yeah. And on the flip side of that, I just want to say that don't be honest with yourself and consider that maybe you're part of the problem. And don't just say, I'm not going to have anything to do with you anymore because you don't treat me the way I want to be treated, and assume that you're perfect So, but if you have reflected on what's happening and truly believe that you are faultless, then yeah, don't take it.
Right.
Do not take that disrespect. You don't deserve it.
But I mean, if you're doing something, if your behavior is not good and that they're just responding to you, then I don't know if that really counts as them disrespecting you. They're just,
Oh no, I was thinking along the lines of I have a few people that have been in my life that have said, I'm not going to tolerate disrespect, so I'm not going to put up with them anymore. And I'm thinking, I've watched the way you've behaved around them. I don't think that you're the only one that's putting up with disrespect. I think they've had to put up with some from you as well.
Yep, it does. It goes both ways.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, that's
all they got to do is think before they speak, right?
That's right. Take our
listen
our marinade and our hot sauce and mix it together, and you got one fine dish there. Mighty fine.
A whole meal.
Oh gosh, I feel like we went on vacation and we came back and we're loopy and weird.
A little bit. It's the summer heat.
Yeah, it's getting to us. We're feeling the vapors. Oh, well, we'll be back with some fun topic next week. But until then, make yourself a priority.
And take care of you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us. Make sure you subscribe to keep up on all the latest sauce. See you next time.